Okay, so you just finished investigation 3. Alrighty. Um, we are talking alternate exterior angles, okay? And I know that based off the alternate exterior angles congruence theorem, okay, that if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then alternate exterior angles are, oh, well, looky there, they are going to be congruent. Okay, so looking at measure 2, which we know to be 120 degrees, we want to know what the measure of angle 8 is. Well, first, let's figure out, are they alternate exterior angles? Okay, so we're looking at exterior angles. That could be 1, 2, 7, or 8. And I'm seeing the word alternate, okay, so it has to be on opposite sides of the transversal. Indeed, they are. So I know that the measure of angle 7 is equal to 120 degrees, okay? If I really broke this down, maybe say it was a proof or something, hint, hint, okay, I would state that the measure of angle 2 is equal to the measure of angle 7, okay, because I know that angle 2 is congruent to angle 7. All right, therefore, knowing that those two are equal, or I'm sorry, the measure of angle 2 is equal to 120, I know that the measure of angle 7 is also 120 degrees. Okay, would this still be true if the lines are not parallel? I'll let you answer that one based off what you've come to learn and that theorem that we just talked about. All right, go ahead and switch back to the iBook. Go to investigation 4. We are talking alternate interior angles. Okay, so this one's got a question. It says, what appears to be true about alternate interior angles when a transversal intersects parallel lines? Okay, so make sure you answer that guy. So sorry, there was one right there as well. And here, totally missed them. I apologize, okay? So check out those questions, think about them, write your answer. No right or wrong answer, okay? So if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are also congruent, okay? So we are looking at angle 3, and I'm looking at the alternate interior angles. Well, my interior are here. My alternate are on opposite sides of the transversal. So I know that those two angles are congruent. Therefore, I know that the measure of angle 6 is also equal to 120 degrees. And once again, I'll let you answer that based off what we've talked about so far. Okay, so after you have completed all of those investigations, answered all your questions, okay, go ahead and focus in back on these notes. It's all we're going to be talking about. Okay, so basically, this is giving us a side-by-side view of those different types of angles and how they're affected by parallel lines versus non-parallel lines, okay? So it's asking us, do we see the difference? I hope looking at this you can see how very different from alternate exterior angles. Definitely can see the difference occurring between those two angles. So just take a look, see if you can see it, okay? So on page 14, it asks us the question, which theorem or postulate stands out as different? Why does that theorem or postulate stand out? Tap the second key at the bottom right of the page to double check your answer, okay? So you all are going to take a guess here. You can check it on page 14. I just lied and said that you were done with your iBook. I apologize. So let's just think about it. Congruent. Okay, well, the one that stands out to me is this only supplementary one, okay? So consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Okay, that stand out to me because That was the only one that didn't state that they were congruent. It stated that they were supplementary, okay? So, let's just talk maybe every other one and then you guys can do the rest, okay? I'm going to look at these guys, these angles that are labeled here. I'm going to first recognize what their relationship is, what their special relation is, and then I'm going to figure out what x is, okay? So, to me, I'm seeing that these are both inside the two parallel lines on the same side of the transversal. To me, these are consecutive interior angles, okay? And this is that one in which we are using supplementary and not congruent, okay? So I'm going to take what I know this angle is, and that's 20x plus 5. And I'm going to add on what I know this one is, which is plus 24x minus 1. And I'm going to set that equal to 180 degrees. Okay? Took those two angles, I added them together, equaled them to 180. That's what supplementary is. Okay? Now I'm just going to combine like terms. I've got 44x minus 4 equals 180. I add 4 on both sides. I divide by 44 on both sides. Whoops. That should be 184. Apologies. Divide by 44. Ooh, let me check this. 5 minus 1. Oh, guys, oh my gosh, I goofed up. Apologies. 5 minus 1 is a positive 4, so we would take 4 away from both sides. I'm sorry. Let me just check that I did this right before I keep making mistakes. That is so much better. X is equal to 4. Okay, wow. Okay, so let this be a learning experience. You know, double check yourself before you wreck yourself like Miss Burke just did. Okay, so here, one that I'm going to have you all do is we're going to use that same property here, but then somehow use a different property between the two of these. Okay, so I'll give us a hint. We are using consecutive interior angles. And we're also using linear pair. Alrighty. Then for C, we're going to look at questions 1 and 2 and determine if we think they are true or false. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 8. Do we think this is true or false? Let's assume these are parallel, okay? Not assume, let's make them parallel, okay, by adding those arrows. So I have alternate exterior angles. They're on the outside of those two parallel lines, opposite sides of the transversal. So they are alternate exterior angles, therefore they are congruent, okay? What about angles 5 and angle 8? Ooh, those look like a special type of angle that we've learned about before. Those look like vertical angles, which indeed are also congruent. Okay, so we still got to hold on to those old ones that we've learned. Okay, and you all are going to do D, okay? So we have to ask ourselves true or false and then find out what the missing angles are, okay? Here, knowing that these two lines are parallel, I'm going to look and see, okay, these are happening outside my parallel lines on opposite sides of the transversal. That tells me they're alternate exterior angles, which tells me they're congruent. Okay, so because those two angles are congruent, I know that their measures are going to be equal. I'm going to check myself every time. All right, let's get rid of those y's. And y is equal to 29.5. Okay, and then you are going to try f. Okay, that is why I'm having you turn these notes in. Please make sure you turn them in.